The cruel laughter echoed through the marble halls of Whitmore Academy like shattered glass, each cruel giggle cutting deeper than the last. 17-year-old Emma Chen gripped the wheels of her chair tighter, her knuckles wide against the chrome, as another paper airplane landed in her lap. This one with wheelchair girl scrawled across its wings in red ink. The daughter of one of America's wealthiest families sat alone in the corner of the cafeteria, invisible to everyone except those who found pleasure in her pain. Emma had been paralyzed from the waist down since a car accident 3 years ago, the same accident that claimed her parents' lives and left her the sole heir to a billion-dollar empire. But nobody at Whitmore knew about the trust fund, the corporate board meetings she attended via video call, or the charitable foundation she'd secretly established. To them, she was just the quiet girl in the wheelchair whose poor relatives somehow scraped together tuition money. "Look, it's Rolls-Royce, Emma," sneered Madison Pierce, the senator's daughter, as she strutted past with her entourage. "Oh wait, that's right, you can't roll anywhere without help." The group erupted in laughter, their designer heels clicking against the floor like a twisted percussion section. Emma's face burned with humiliation, but she'd learned long ago that fighting back only made things worse. Instead, she wheeled herself toward the library, seeking refuge in the one place where her tormentors rarely ventured. The massive oak doors provided sanctuary, and she settled into her usual spot by the window, pretending to study while tears threatened to spill. That's when she noticed Maria Santos, the janitor's 8-year-old daughter, sat cross-legged on the floor behind the biography section, carefully mending a torn book with tape and determination that belonged to someone 3 times her age. Her school uniform was faded and too big, clearly a hand-me-down, but she wore it with dignity. Maria came to the academy every day after her own classes ended at the local public school, waiting for her mother to finish cleaning the building. "What you doing there?" Emma asked softly, wheeling closer. Maria looked up with startling brown eyes that held wisdom beyond her years. "This book is hurt," she said simply, holding up a biography of Helen Keller. "Mama says books are like friends, you don't abandon them when they're broken." Something in Emma's chest loosened. That's a beautiful way to think about it. For the next several weeks, Emma found herself seeking out Maria during her mother's cleaning shifts. They'd share quiet conversations in the library, with Maria asking endless questions about Emma's homework and Emma marveling at the little girl's resilience. Despite having so little materially, Maria radiated a joy and kindness that had been absent from Emma's world for years. One rainy Thursday afternoon, Emma discovered Maria crying behind the stacks. Her small hands shook as she held a crumpled letter. "What's wrong, sweetie?" "Mama lost her second job," Maria whispered. "The letter says we have to move away because we can't pay rent. I won't get to see you anymore, or finish fixing the books." Emma's heart shattered. In that moment, watching this extraordinary child face homelessness with more grace than most adults showed during minor inconveniences, she made a decision that would change everything. The next day, Emma made a phone call that sent shockwaves through Whitmore Academy's administration. By noon, every student and faculty member had received an email that would be talked about for decades to come. The announcement was simple: the Chen Foundation, one of America's largest charitable organizations, was making its largest single donation in history of $50 million to transform Whitmore Academy into a scholarship-based institution serving underprivileged students. The foundation's teenage founder and CEO would be visiting campus to oversee the transition personally. When Emma Chen wheeled into the main auditorium that afternoon, flanked by lawyers and foundation board members, the silence was deafening. Madison Pierce's mouth hung open in shock. The same students who'd mocked the poor girl in the wheelchair now stared at one of the most powerful young women in America. But Emma's eyes searched the crowd until they found Maria, sitting with her mother in the back row. The little girl's face lit up with a smile so pure it outshone every crystal chandelier in the room. "Ladies and gentlemen," Emma's voice carried clearly through the microphone, "I'm here today because someone taught me that true wealth isn't measured in dollars, but in the kindness we show others." This young lady, as she gestured toward Maria, has more wisdom in her 8-year-old heart than most people accumulate in a lifetime. As Emma continued explaining the scholarship program that would ensure students like Maria could attend Whitmore regardless of their family's financial situation, something magical happened. Maria stood up in her faded uniform, walked to the front of the auditorium, and in front of hundreds of people, looked directly at Emma with shining eyes. "You're not just rich," Maria announced in her clear, innocent voice that carried throughout the silent room. "You're a queen, a real queen." Queens take care of their people. The auditorium erupted not in cruel laughter this time, but in thunderous applause. Teachers wiped away tears, students stood in ovation, and even the most hardened administrators found themselves moved by the profound truth spoken by a janitor's daughter. Emma wheeled forward and embraced Maria, finally understanding that sometimes the most profound recognition comes from the purest hearts. She had spent 3 years hiding her identity, ashamed of her wealth and devastated by her disability. But through Maria's eyes, she saw herself clearly for the first time, here not as the girl in the wheelchair, not as the secret heiress, but as someone who had the power to lift others up. In the months that followed, Whitmore Academy was transformed. The scholarship program flourished, bringing together students from all backgrounds. Emma established a mentorship program pairing older and younger students, with Maria as the first little sister participant. The same halls that once echoed with cruel laughter now rang with genuine friendship and mutual respect. Madison Pierce, humbled by the experience, eventually became one of the program's biggest advocates, learning that true status comes not from putting others down, but from lifting them up. And every day, as Emma wheeled through the halls of the transformed academy, she remembered Maria's words. She wasn't just wealthy, wasn't just disabled, wasn't just surviving, as she was a queen, ruling with compassion over a kingdom built on kindness, where every person's worth was measured not by their circumstances, but by the love they shared with others. Sometimes the most profound truths come from the smallest voices, and sometimes being called a queen by a janitor's daughter means more than any crown ever could.